first launch of the new year, SpaceX deployed 60 additional Starlink satellites, part of what the company hopes will be a global internet network.
At first, we weren't too keen on the idea of leaving the sandy beach coast only to end up on a concrete slab in central Florida, but the name of the game is exploring, and we wanted to say hi to Ken and Wendy as well, so off we went.
Ken and Wendy were held up at the Gander RV Sales and Repair Center in Bartow, Florida. When Ken called to say hi, they invited us to come hang out with them for a couple of days.
This is the couple we had met just as we were about to begin our RV travel days. How we met and the subsequent similar story surrounding our collective future plans was quite fascinating.
For sure. You see, shortly after we sold the house and moved outside the city, we began driving into the city during the week so I could finish up on my last months at work. Ken, my Ken, would drop me off at work and then go find things to do and places to hang out during the day while I was at work.
The first few days I hung out near the waterfront, either in Britannia Beach or at Kitchissippi Lookout, working on and improving the systems inside the RV and so on. Then, on about day 4, I discovered a parking lot in the area just behind the building where Kathy worked. It seemed like a good place for me to hang out for the second half of the day while blending in with the other cars that were parked there and basically just hanging out. After I parked the RV on this one particular day and got settled, I heard a knock on the door. I thought it was someone from the arena come to say I couldn't park there. It turns out this fella just came out to let me know that I had left my lights on. We struck up a conversation and I mentioned the situation with having sold the house and how we were getting ready to travel.
When you know it, the guy says. That's quite interesting, because my wife and I just sold our house, bought an RV, and I'm in the process of winding down at my job here at the arena in anticipation of us heading out on the road full-time very soon too.
Wow, I thought. I couldn't believe our paths crossed this way, at this time when we both had such similar life plans in the works. Then, to top it off, he extends his hand and says, "It's nice to meet you, my name's Ken." I thought to myself, no. Actually, I remember saying out loud, "Please don't tell me your wife's name is Kathy." He said no, and my heart skipped a beat as I almost thought he was about to say yes.
So, there you have it. That's the story of how we met. 4 people sharing a similar life situation and about to embark on RV adventures running into each other, with the added interesting part that 2 of them share the same name.
Things like this make me go,
Anywho, so Ken, my Ken, decided that since we were looking at about a 2-hour drive, he would fire up the slow cooker and create a beef stew for all of us to share once we got there.
After packing up and taking advantage of the showers at the campsite, we hit the road around 2 p.m.
That beef stew was smelling mighty fine as we pulled into the lot where Ken and Wendy were parked.
They gave us a tour of their new rig. Very nice. And then we sat around discussing the meaning of life for an hour or so as we shared a drink.
Judging from the stories Ken and Wendy were telling us, we got the sense that they had done quite a bit of traveling already.
So we invited them to share the beef stew with us, and we also further invited ourselves to eat it in their rig. Well, considering the accommodation in ours, it would likely be a bit too cramped.
As you can see, they have a large, beautiful multi-slide rig with all the comforts of home included.
This is good, considering they are actually using it as a full-time home right now.
After supper, we watched a bit of the tube, then called it a night.
The next day, Ken and Wendy played host and took us touring. We visited an orange juice facility and an old decommissioned railway station in and around the local area where we were. It was quite fun.
We hadn't expected to go touring, but that was really cool.
got back, we all sat around outside the rig chatting. Someone mentioned hockey, so I told a couple of stories about how Kat and I were attempting to visit as many hockey arenas as possible on this trip.
That's when Ken, Wendy's Ken, suggested we check to see if and when the Lightning are playing. Turns out they were scheduled to play the Coyotes the next night, so Wendy got online and bought some tickets. We sent them an e-transfer later for our share.
The plan was to leave fairly early tomorrow and hang out at the beach in Tampa, and then go see the game.
Shortly after that, we called it a night and headed over to our RV.
The next day, Ken and Wendy drove us all down to Tampa in their new truck. We found some parking and then explored the beach for several hours.
As lunchtime rolled around, we headed for the strip in town where we decided on a place to eat.
The food was good, and the place, an open concept restaurant, was virtually empty except for a few birds flying around near our table.
After lunch, we checked out the touristy stores along the strip as we made our way back to the beach to do some more exploring and people watching.
Time to head over to the Amelie Arena. After finding some suitable parking, we sauntered around the park next to the arena for a bit, and then we went inside to watch Tampa whoop the Coyotes 4-0.
After the game, we headed back to our parking area at the RV repair place.
And that was it. We had a nice visit with Ken and Wendy and then took off back towards the coast. Our 10 days out of the system were up, so we now had reservations at a new RV park not far from Daytona Speedway.
That turned out to be a really good place. They had a staging area next to the pool where they hired live bands to play, so you could literally swim under the palm trees if you chose to, while listening to a live band.
Very nice indeed. So be sure to come back to see what that looks like and the highlights in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
Ciao for now.